Hello, class. This is Maisha Wheeler, and today I'll be talking about adolescent psychosocial development. So, my patient for today is Dara, and we're going to be talking about Dara and her family. Dara is a 14-year-old Caucasian female. She has an 11-year-old sister, and they have a binuclear family. So, her mother and father are recently separated, and they're getting a divorce. And tension between them is very high right now. And this can be a weakness because separation of the family can cause a lot of stress for the family members. And usually it does result in a lot of changes. The most obvious one is separation. So, whether it's one member of the family who's leaving or all of the family members are relocating, you have that relocation and change of environment. So, that can mean a change of jobs, a change of schools, loss of friendships, and loss of support. It can also mean change in finances and also introduction of new romantic partners, possibly. So that's going to cause a lot of stress. And then you also have the aspect of the children being exposed to the possible dysfunction between the parents. So usually before separation, there is some fighting and possible physicality or there is some outward expression of dysfunction between the parents, and the children are usually seeing that or sensing that. So depending on how long it was and how bad it was, or if it only happened before the separation, if it's still happening, or if it happens afterward, that's going to have a negative effect on the children. So Dara and her sister, they live with mom and they visit dad every other weekend. And that could be a weakness because of the absence of the other parent, and they are also part of their emotional support and they make them feel safe, I'm sure. So, not seeing them as often can lead to some uncertainty, and it could have them wonder, about their continued role in their life, if they're still going to love them, if they're still going to come to their events, if they're still going to be in their life in the same way. So, mom is a radiology technician and dad is self employed, which is a good thing. They both have their own resources, are able to take care of themselves and take care of their children. Both homes are both homes are large multi-bed and bathroom homes with underground pools. So it sounds like they have a lot of space and the children will have a lot of privacy. Everyone will be able to deal with their own emotions in a private space and come together when they're ready to come together. So there's no smoking in either home. Mom is an active participant in the church, and the girls attend church frequently with her, and dad is a non practicing Christian. So, religion for the adolescent, especially during middle adolescence, is more focused on internal aspects of religion and less focused on external practices. So Dara is going to have more of a personalized idea of what religion is to her now because she has her own opinions and she has her own feelings about what is now happening. She's more receptive. So she may stick with the traditional practices that she's been exposed to, or she may decide later on down the road that this is not working for her and this is not what she believes in. But her sister, on the other hand, is a lot younger than her, even though they're in the same stage of adolescence. And so she's more prone to following what she's been exposed to by her family. So she may continue down that road for now. So mom has an authoritative parenting style and dad has an authoritarian parenting style. Authoritative parenting is the recommended style of parenting. It's more of a guiding style, so they give the adolescent an appropriate amount of freedom while letting them know what's expected of them and letting them know the rules, why there are rules, and they really respect their feelings, they respect their views, but they still give them that structure while allowing them to find themselves. The authoritarian style is not recommended. It's starkly contrasted to mom's parenting style. It is more of a controlling style where the parent wants the adolescent to act the way they want them to act, maybe even think the way they want them to think. And so they expect them to do things only because they say so, and they don't really give any sort of explanation, and they don't take into consideration the feelings and the viewpoints of their children. And it's going to be really difficult because adolescents at this stage, like Dara is, they're really looking for that autonomy. They want to be respected. They want to be listened to. They're growing young adults. So they're becoming adults and they want to have that sort of reverence like they give to their parents. Dara has celiac disease. Due to the recent divorce and puberty, Dara has not been following her celiac diet and has been experiencing episodes of headaches and constipation. She is a competitive soccer player and practices 15 to 20 hours a week. She's also a straight A student, but last semester her grades slipped a little bit, and both Dara and her sister have started counseling to help with the divorce. So Dara is pretty independent at this time, so it does call into question why she's not following her celiac diet, because I'm sure that she's aware of what she can and cannot have. And it also calls into question whether her parents have noticed or if her parents are providing sufficient resources for her to follow her diet. Competitive soccer is a good positive for the family for Dara because it does build self-respect, and it also builds compassion for others because it's a group sport. And let's see, Dara and her sister have started counseling. That's a good thing because it does show that her parents are cognizant that the divorce can have an effect on their children, and also they'll be able to speak about other things that are stressing them out or other things that are causing them problems that maybe their parents aren't attuned to right now because they're dealing with their own emotions about what's going on. So questions that we want to ask. We want to know how Dara and her sister's interactions are with the family. We want to know how they're responding. Are they sleeping all day? Are they coming out and being aggressive or being or very angry all the time? Or do they have a flat effect? You know, are they happy? Are they normal? What are they like? And we want to know how much sleep Dara's been getting and how much sleep her sister has been getting, because sleep can affect you mentally and it can affect you physically. If you're not getting enough sleep, you know, you can get headaches, you can get stomach aches, you'll have, you know, loss of concentration, you won't be able to concentrate, and that can affect how you perform in school. And has Dara and her sister engaged in any reckless behavior, substance abuse, or withdrawn from friends, family, school, and hobbies? So when under stress, just like any older adult, you can run to different things. So we want to know if they're using any kind of substance. Are they eating? Are they overeating? Have they started drinking? Are they still engaging with their friends? How are they doing in school? Are they still doing their hobbies? You know, and have either of them recently gone through any physiologic changes or changes in schedules? So we're in adolescence. We're going to have a lot of physical changes that are happening, a lot of hormones, a lot of emotions, a lot of things are happening during this stage of development. So we want to know, is something happening that is adding extra stress, that is affecting the way she feels about her body image and her schedule? She's in competitive soccer. She's a straight A student. I'm sure she has responsibilities at home. Is her schedule too much for her right now? And what are Dara's peer relationships like? So usually peer relationships have a big influence on adolescence. We want to know, is her peer relationships positive? Are they negative? And we can get a lot of information from her peers as well. But we don't only want to focus on the children, we also want to focus on the parents because our parents are taking care of our children. So we want to know if they have any support at this time, anyone looking after them, helping them, and are they in counseling? You know, are they considering family counseling or would they consider family counseling? To maybe give them an idea of the whole picture of what's going on with their family as well. And what is the home environment like? How much attention and support do they receive from both parents and other family members? So, family stress theory. Family stress theory explains how families react to stressful events and it suggests factors to help promote adaptation to stress. So, too many stressful events occurring in a small amount of time can overwhelm the family and it really does affect their ability to cope. So, if too many things happen at once, they could be at risk for breakdown, or some of its members can get physical and emotional health problems. For example, Dara hasn't been following her celiac diet because she's been going through puberty and all these changes, and as well as the stress of divorce. So she's been experiencing some headaches and constipation, and that may be from her celiac diet because she's not following it, but it can also be because of the stress that she has. So Dara's family is currently in stage 5 of Duvall's development theory, family with teenagers, and two characteristics that go along with this stage are increasing autonomy from adolescence and the parents refocusing on midlife, marital, and career issues. So, if Dara was to get sick or hospitalized, Dara might feel isolated because she's not going to be around her friends and she's not going to have her parents there either all the time if they have to work. Her sister might also feel alone since Dara will be in the hospital, and her parents may or may not be home, so she could end up a little more alone. Parents will need to make further arrangements to support Dara and her sister, and the resources might be strained. Tension between parents could increase because now you have a sick child, so you have to, co-parent a little bit more, and the tension is already a little bit stressed. And Dara could become depressed or anxious because it seems like she's already going through something emotionally. So, getting hospitalized or being sick is just another stressor on top of whatever she's feeling right now. And the parents could feel guilty. And, their parents are individuals as well. Their marriage is going to be dissolved. So they're having their own emotions about that, and that's affecting their personal life. And at this time, sometimes their ability to take care of their children emotionally is affected because they're being affected emotionally. So sometimes they're too busy dealing with their own loss of their spouse and trying to manage the changes that come around with separation to really notice the effects that the divorce is having on their children. So the stage of psychosocial development that adolescents are in is Erickson's identity versus role diffusion. So Dara is really wanting to get a sense of personal identity. She wants to come and view herself as a unique individual. So she's going to try different things and experiences to really get the feel of what feels like her. And this identity versus role diffusion also takes into account group identity and alienation. And that's really just being part of a group. So, being part of a group for adolescents is very important. The group provides acceptance and a sense of belonging. It also gives them some validation. sort of the transition point between dependence and autonomy for them. And in early adolescence, to get into these groups, sometimes they do conform to whatever it is that would get them into the group, and that's usually wearing the same clothes, having the same hairstyle, sometimes listening to the same music, having the same language. But they're also going to experience a little separation from the family. Because she's wanting some independence and more autonomy, she's going to start rejecting the parents and start to hang out more with her peers, confide more in her peers, and spend more time with her peers. So, although the parents don't have that direct contact as much as they used to with their adolescent, they're still holding a really important role in the part of their development. It's just going to change a little bit. So the psychological health for the adolescent involves mood swings. It's very common for the adolescent. So Dara may have some mood swings, especially with what's going on with her. She might also have some outward expressions of anger. In early adolescence, it's very common for them to have some angry outbursts and name calling, things like that. And the emotional consistency doesn't really come in until later in adolescence, when they really learn how to think about their emotions and cool down a little bit more. But you also have some intense daydreaming as well. Sexual identity. So, sexual identity is very important for adolescents. It usually begins with close same sex friendships, and you'll see this. They'll be hanging out with their best friend all the time, going to the movies, going to the park, going to school, coming over your house, eating all your snacks, that kind of thing. And it sometimes involves sexual experimentation, and this can be driven by curiosity. And then later into middle adolescence, you'll see that transition from friendships to intimate relationships, where they're looking at the individuals that they're attracted to in a romantic or sexual kind of way. And then you'll also have some self-exploration through masturbation, and you will have some self-evaluation where they're looking at themselves and gauging how attractive they are. So sexual orientation is a very big part of sexual identity. It's a pattern of sexual arousal or romantic attraction towards a person of the opposite sex, the same sex, both sexes. It can also involve the process of gender transition, and it can also involve not being attracted to any sex. So the three elements of sexual orientation are how that person defines their own orientation, sexual attraction, so who they are physically and romantically attracted to, and sexual behavior, which involves who they have sexual relationships with. All right, so we have some anticipatory guidance. And the nursing priority that I chose is facilitating autonomy and preventing reckless behavior. So we really want to advise the parents to be aware that adolescents are subject to turbulent, unpredictable behavior. And they're really struggling for independence. They really want their autonomy as, as further along they get in the adolescent stage. They're extremely sensitive to feelings and behavior that can affect them, and they may receive a different message from what was sent initially. So it's really important to try to be clear and concise with them in communication, and you want to respond to their feelings and their words. So they consider their friends extremely important, so it's really important for them that their friends are respected by you. Because they consider their friends to be their support system. And they have a very strong need to belong. So a few things that you can do to help get along with your adolescent or help understand your adolescent a little bit better is to provide them with their privacy. You want to show up for them. So if they're having a play, if they're having a sports event, you want to be active and participating in that. You also want to make sure that you apologize for any mistakes that you make, because we're all human, we make mistakes, and your children are aware of that, that you're not perfect anymore. So you want to apologize for your mistakes, and you want to show them unconditional love and acceptance. All right, y'all. That is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.